Hey, what's up, family? Bless up. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Really quick video. My passion, man, is like, the godly family, the godly relationship. That's like a really good passion because that's one of the more important things in the world, to be honest. And of course, in this day and age, it's being minimized so much. If you watch the media and the feminist movements and the movements of the men hating the women, and it's just so much confusion in that area. But that man and that woman establishing a foundation for potentially having godly children that is one of the principal models of this whole walk in the Most High God through Christ, and we cannot get away from that. So I'm gonna go on the scripture that I was discussing yesterday. One of my favorites. I probably talked about it a lot actually, but we're going to hit Psalm 127 and a little bit of Psalm 128, and then we're going to wrap it up. This video should not be longer than 6 minutes, 7 minutes. It's kind of funny because that's kind of hard. But anyway, we're gonna jump right into it. The book of Psalm 127 and verse 3 through 5. It says, "Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him." Verse 4. Like arrows in the hand of a mighty warrior, or no, like arrows in the hands of a warrior, or children born in one's youth. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their opponents in court. And then let's go to Psalm 128. It says, "Blessed are all those who fear the Lord, who walk in obedience to Him." That's a key word right there. "You will eat the fruit of your labor. Blessings and prosperity will be yours. Your wife," verse 3, "your wife will be like a fruitful vine within your house. Your children will be like olive shoots around the table." Thank God for His word. Children are so important. Babies are so important. That's why I think if you call yourself a believer, you should literally be for life, because it's so important. But we're in a time where, the enemy has penetrated people where sometimes they don't like kids. Some people don't want to have children. Some people speak ill of children. Some people have promoted animals and dogs in the place of children, and they're animals. They're not human. God made humans for human companionship, and nothing else is on this earth really gonna take precedence over it. In society, you have the money troubles, you have the this and the that. The attack against nature, the attack against the man and the woman coming together in relationship, the attack against that is an attack against God. That's why, that goes back to that garden, but that's why sometimes it is difficult, when a person, you're in a relationship, maybe dealing with them having issues, having trauma, or, that you have money problems, especially in America. Like, some of that stuff is true, but the most important thing we can do is to keep our eyes on God and walk in reverence and respect for Him, and raise our children in that same light. Because, see, what you model for your children is very important. You want to create a society of good husbands, of loving wives, of teamship, of people loving one another and helping one another, encouraging one another and strengthening one another. It starts by doing it as children. It starts by making sure your children love, making sure that they model forgiveness, make sure that they model giving grace, make sure that they model giving a helping hand. And you don't want to model bitterness and hatred and envy and, backbiting and anger. You don't want to model those things in front of your children, because what you're doing is you're potentially setting a barrier, not a barrier, really a roadblock in front of them. There may be something that they have to deal with later on in life. You want to raise them up in the honor and the fear of God. That's not going to mean they're not going to do crazy stuff, because they're kids, and if they're in America, in this Western society, they're probably going to be exposed to some junk, the way that this world is. But our goal, our duty is to make sure that we're raising our children to love, to be kind, to be the light of the world, and to be the salt of the world. That's why family are important. I tell you this too: the mother is important and the father is important. Fathers matter. You look at a lot of society, man. I never forget. That was data coming out years ago. I did a talk on fathers somewhere, and I was very surprised at the importance of fathers when it comes to raising daughters. It gives daughters a competitive nature. It allows daughters to walk and know how to develop an intimacy within themselves, as far as being confident within themselves, and some other things like that. But one of the things I noticed, when you look at the incarceration rate, incarceration numbers, many of the young men who are incarcerated didn't have active, really good or decent fathers in their lives. That goes to show you that God design is undefeated. Am I sitting here saying it's easy, it's a cakewalk? I'm not. I'm not, because I understand it. But nevertheless, we're gonna have to follow God's system. And the word says, "Lo, children are a heritage." They're the offspring. It's a reward for God. So really, children are a blessing from God. And you don't really notice that, because you think children are so easy to have, until you talk to people who cannot have children, or who have struggled with having healthy children. And you have quite a bit who went through that. Blessed is the man whose quiver is full, who's full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their opponents in court. Your wife will be like a fruitful vine. Your children will be like olive shoots around the table. That means they're springy. They're full of energy. They're full of life. They're full of vitality. They're full of wisdom. They're full of God. They're full of love. They're full of kindness. They're full of the kingdom. There's nothing better than raising godly children. Take care, guys, and have a blessed day.